So let's try to use completing the square to actually solve some quadratic equations. So now I have an equation, not just an expression. And if you're given an equation to solve, a quadratic equation, and you don't yet have it equal to 0, that's always the first step. Always rearrange it to be equal to 0 so that we can use the null factor law. So, to save myself writing equals 0 on the right-hand side and worrying about the spacing all the time, I always rewrite this with the 0 on the left. And you'll see why as we go. I want to complete the square. Minus 4x, leave a space, plus 2. Now in that space I'm going to complete the square. I want half of this, and it's always plus 2 squared. But if I've added 2 squared, I better subtract 2 squared. This part is x minus 2 squared. Minus 4 plus 2. X minus 2 squared minus 4 plus 2 is take away 2. Now use difference of squares. X minus 2 minus root 2, x minus 2 plus root 2. Now if you like, you can put your brackets around the first part, but you don't have to. Once you get comfortable, you don't have to. If there were negatives or surds or complicated things in here, I would put the brackets in. But right now I don't have to. Now, if I'm going to solve this using the null factor law, it's easiest if I can write x minus something and x minus something. You know what? Maybe I'll do it without, and you can see where that comes in. If this expression is equal to 0, then by the null factor law, either this must be 0 or this must be 0. So therefore, x minus 2 minus root 2 must be 0, or x minus 2 plus root 2 must be 0. Well, this one says x must equal 2 plus root 2, and this one says x must equal 2 minus root 2. All I've done is move those terms across to the right. So I have two possible solutions. Notice they are surd conjugates. X is 2 plus or minus root 2. And that matches what you know from the quadratic formula. Now I said before, if you can write this as x minus something and x minus something, you'll find out those solutions easily. Can you see how that worked? Let me go back to here and show you. That would be the same as saying x minus, if I take out the minus, 2 plus root 2. And this one would be x minus, take out the negative sign, 2 minus root 2. Now you are used to doing it and comfortable doing it when these are just a normal number without a surd part. As you get better, you can go directly from this to this. You don't have to write this extra line. In your mind, think what this is as x minus something. Let's try another. X squared plus 6x minus 11. So again, I'm always going to write my 0 on the left because it makes things easier. Complete the square. Leave a space. Write the minus 11 now so I don't forget it later. I need to add half of this squared. 3 squared. If I've added that, I better subtract it. Okay, this is x plus 3 squared. Take 9, take 11. That's 20. X plus 3 squared minus 20. Okay, factorise. X plus 3 plus root 20. Whoa, that was messy. And x plus 3 minus root 20. Can I simplify root 20? I think I can, because it's 20, let me do this over here, root 20 is root 4 root 5, so that's 2 root 5. Okay, that's thinking at the side. So that means I've got x plus 3 plus 2 root 5, and x plus 3 minus 2 root 5. Like we did last time, if you can think in your head, you don't have to write this. Can we imagine this being x minus something? Yes, we can. 3 minus, negative 3 minus 2 root 5. X minus negative 3 plus 2 root 5. So we can go straight to, therefore, x is negative 3 plus or minus 2 root 5. If you're not comfortable going directly there, you can just take this line and say, therefore, this equals 0 or this equals 0, and you will end up with the same solutions. If you like, I'll show you. It's not what I would prefer that you learn to do, because if you can go straight from here, without even writing this line, go straight from here to this, that's okay and will actually be faster for you. But if you can't yet, you can go from this line to say x plus 3 plus 2 root 5 is 0, or x plus 3 minus 2 root 5 is 0. And you will end up with x being negative 3 minus 2 root 5, or x being negative 3 plus 2 root 5. So I have got the same solutions. The best method is to go straight from here to here, if you can. If not, do this. If that's still too difficult for you, yes, you can still do that.